What up, buddy? It's your boy Goosebumps Gen, or not Goosebumps Gen, my bad. JRI Incorporated back at it with another video. I'm here to tell you a very personal story or things from my life, real quick. Not real quick, maybe a 10, 15-minute video. And how I had gotten the fear of clowns and how I got over it at a certain age. So, when I was growing up in Illinois, I was born in Chicago, Illinois, 1997. In January 22nd. So earlier than that, around 1991, 1992, the Chicago area was around Halloween time was suffering from a big hysteria over a person named Homey the Clown going into vans. This guy was supposedly this clown guy dressed as a clown was in a white van, like a van, was drive up to kids while they're going from home from school and would like try to kidnap them and like I'm not sure if he ever tried to kill them, but like the story I was told was that he would try to kidnap them, kill them, and rape them. Particularly little boys, not little girls, particularly little boys. Now, when I was 3, I heard the story over the news that the reported signs, the recent reported signs. This hysteria, or this entire thing lasted to 2008, which is surprisingly the weirdest fucking shit I've ever heard of an hysteria lasting for that long. Honestly, though, when I grew up in Illinois, I was never worried. Later on in life, my parents never had that big problem. But growing up, when I was a little kid, like very little, and I had a crib still, the mobile that I had was a clown on a swing. Very beautiful craftsmanship. We still have it in our garage. It's an antique, but it kind of caused my fear of clowns as a kid. Mainly because when you're a kid, a little baby, maybe 1 to 2, you don't want to see a clown like this on a swing staring at you every time you try to fall asleep. I'm just saying. It ain't the prettiest sight. And around 3 years old, I had begged my mom and dad to remove it from my room. Now, here's where shit gets real. When I was 3, and this again, I have a very good memory, was surprisingly. When I turned about was 3.5, I had a dream that I saw Homey, and Homey. When I mean Homey, it's not Homey the Clown from Simpsons. It's Homey the Clown from like Chicago, Illinois. And how you can tell the difference, Homey the Clown from Simpsons is spelled like how you would say, friend, Homey. Homey the Clown in from Chicago, Illinois is HOMEY or HOMEY instead of HOME or IE. Anyways, so I had a dream that Homey came, ejected me from my house, locked me in a cage kind of thing in his van, which he was and then drove off, and I never saw my parents again, and some bad shit other than that. At 3 years old, I didn't know what rape was, so I couldn't tell you what the fuck that was. But I just know that from watching the news and the latest hysteria, the last sightings were around my neighborhood area, or around about 2 blocks from where I lived, or subdivision, not subdivision, but like I forgot where I fucking lived. My first house that I ever lived in, but the first house I ever lived in, there was another area about 15, 20 minutes away, and his last supposed sighting was in that area. And so I basically had this nightmare. So when I woke up from the nightmare, surprisingly, and I don't know how this is possible, but I don't think it was sleep paralysis or anything like that, but there was a van and a clown standing outside my windows. And my window as a kid was like right here. So how you enter my house is you want to enter this house. And I still remember both houses' layouts, which is pretty interesting. So you entered the house from the front door. And as soon as you entered the house from the front door, there was a basement right there. In the other door. you kept going. There was a living room, a kitchen. Then you go in there. There was a laundry room somewhere near the kitchen area, and then there's two rooms that were like this. So it was like kind of like in a V shape. The room right here is my parents, and the rooms right here is my room, or is my baby room, whatever you want to call it. Sitting in that room was in my room you had a clear view of the outside from the front of the building, the house to the I couldn't see the driveway, but I could see the sidewalk and the road and everything. My parents' side, you couldn't see shit except the backyard. And probably our next door neighbor's yard. So yeah. But yeah, that's the only thing you could see on my parents' side and my side. So I saw this clown near my window, looking on me while I was sleeping, and I remember he was tapping on the glass and trying to get in. Let me open the door. The thing. I'm 3.5, so I'm already now petrified of clowns. I've heard about homey. My 3-year-old and a half mind's racing at 5 miles per minute. Anyways, I'm able to somehow get over my crib, which again, I was still living in a crib at 3 years old, obviously. Fuck the clown. I'm like, fuck the clown. In my brain, I'm like, no, I'm not opening the window at all. I book it to my parents' room, and I lie about some shit saying I had a nightmare. Honestly, this time, I don't think my parents would have believed me. They said, you're 3.5. You probably would have said, you're 3.5 years old. Why were you going to believe that there's a clown outside your window? And I booked it into this. I booked it in, and in my parents' room, I fell asleep in my mom and wrapped to my mom's arms. And the next morning, there was visible evidence that the clown was there, such as there were pop balloons, candy on my windowsill, and a bunch of other things. But that's all I remember from my actual experience with homey. Supposedly, I think it was homey. I'm saying, I've been just some fucked up guy in a clown suit. But honestly, I couldn't tell you what homey looked like, though. I can't remember what homey looked like. If I remember correctly, he had orange hair and a nose. One second, I got a text. Okay, so back what I was saying. Where was I at? Okay, yeah. So around this time, after this, I developed a fear of clowns. My fear was so powerful that I could not be in the same area as clowns. I could not be in the same room as the clown. Hell, if I was at a school function, a family function, and there was a clown, you would see me as far away as I could be. To this day, I'm not really afraid of clowns anymore. I'm not. I'll tell you how I became how I actually got over my fear of clowns. And I bear with everything else. But anyway, so back to what I was saying. What was I at? Oh, fuck. Anyway, so how I got over one thing about my parents that my dad and my grandfather you probably don't know is they used to work for the Chicago Board of Trade, which is basically they were sold soybean oil and a bunch of other stuff. They work in the stock market basically, the agricultural version of the stock market, and some other companies, but mainly agriculture, I believe. But doing this, they got like free perks, like cool perks, like annual tickets to the zoo. Honestly, though, when I was a kid, it was weird though. Anything in a stuffed suit, I was kind of afraid of. So like I was afraid of this. There's the mascot of the Chicago Brookfield Zoo is a polar bear. I got what they titled him. I was afraid of the guy in the suit, obviously, because I don't know why. Later on in life, I just got over it. Like again, what's it called? Fuck. Oh, the fried cherry cheese. That one I'll explain in this video as well. Yeah. So they would and I always get like Cubs tickets. Honestly though, if it was when I was a kid, when it came to like the three things my parents were able to, my dad was grandfather were able to get from working there was always the Cubs tickets. That's the only thing I really liked. I mean, I liked the circus up into the part where the clowns came out, and then after that, I'd be fucking freaking out. Like, this is how much of a bitch I was when I had this fear. When I was at the circus with my grandfather and usually it was my grandfather, my uncle, me, and my grandmother or Bubby. But there was a few occasions where it was my mom or my mom is with us, and everyone else was there too. But I would always, when the clowns would always start to come out, I would always talk about my grandfather sleep, but I call my grandfather Papa, which is Yiddish for grandfather, and I would say, Papa, I know you're afraid of clowns, Papa. Let's go, Papa. Papa, I know you're afraid of clowns. So I was such a bitch as a kid. I was a bitch. I had to pass off my fear as my grandfather's fear, who was like 55 years old, and I'm not even sure if he was afraid of anything. I'm not sure. Well, he probably is, but but honestly, he passed off my fear as his fear, just so he would take me out. And every time he never questioned me. He took me out of the circus until the clowns would be gone, and then I would go back into the rest of the circus. But it was always the clowns that scared me. My parents also had a restaurant before they have the restaurant now, called Johnny's Red Hot Ranch that went bankrupt, and they had a parade that always happened around there. And whenever the clowns would come out, I would always book it into the restaurant and close the blinds, because in all honesty, clowns come to kids. Like, they actually will walk up to kids. I did not want, at this point in my life, I did not want any clown walking up to me. I could not stand being near a clown. It would make me, I would hyperventilate. I would start to sweat. I would go in legit in either an anxiety or a panic attack. That's like how much these used to scare the shit out of me. Now back to how I said I was afraid of cherry cheese. Now, I was afraid of cherry cheese for the same reason I was kind of afraid of the guy who wore the purple costume. I don't know who the fuck it is under there. Okay. Also, no offense, but a gigantic mouse/rat in a restaurant isn't your best bet for a mascot. Just putting it out there, okay? Usually because a giant mouse/rat in a restaurant usually equals being closed down for good. Just saying. But anyways, when I was I'm not sure if they did this in other Chuck E. Cheese's, but in my Chuck E. Cheese that we always go to as a kid. I don't know why my parents would take me there. Honestly, the only thing I like to do was play the games and the pizza. But other than that, we could grab pizza anywhere else. The guy who was in the Chuck E. suit would always go. So there would be a big party, with the kids and all that, and then he would go out to individual tables where where kids were. And I would, when he would get to about maybe 3 tables in front of, or 3 or 2 tables behind, mostly 2 tables from my table that I was sitting at with my parents, I would literally get go under my seat, under the table, and wait for him to pass by. I would not associate with Chuck E. Cheese. I did not want to see him. I did not want to be near him. I just wanted him to go to another table and leave me the fuck alone. Honestly, I don't know why I was afraid of Chuck E. Cheese. I couldn't tell you. But I know that my dad is partially the one who got me over the fear, because one day, I basically stood or one day or what was it? I think it was like I was about 6 years old. Which funny is I got over my fear of clowns a year later. So at six, I'm 6 years old, and we're at Chuck E. Cheese, and my dad, I go under the table like as usual, and my dad freaking flips. He's like, "This is son of, that's it. I'm done with this shit. I'm done with it." My mom's trying to calm him down. He said, "No, no." He literally picks me up from under the table. Chucky is probably all the way at the back by this the concession area now, and he just shoves me up to him, and I kind of bump into the guy in the suit, and I kind of freak out. No, I don't freak out, but I just stare at him. He turns around, and I, for about felt like an eternity. Like when you're really afraid, it felt like an eternity. You just stare. But it was really only like maybe 3 seconds. I stared up at him, and then he kind of held out a hand, like to shake, and I'm like, just kind of quivered, and I kind of shook his hand, and then I heard a guy say, "Hey kid," and it was in the suit. "Hey kid, there's no reason to be afraid," and that's exactly what. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, so it's a dude. It's a dude in a suit. That makes sense." In my brain, I thought it was a real gigantic rat. Okay, well, I'm 6 years old. I'm not that smart, obviously. Then again, this is me. At 7 years old, I started watching horror films. So yeah. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So 7 years old. I'm at another parade / thing. I don't know what it was for exactly. It was about 25 minutes from my house. The problem was this was not at my parents' restaurant. My parents' restaurant was already, I think they were closed or something like that by this time, or I don't remember. I think they were closed by this time. And I'm sitting outside with my family, and clowns start to show up. And I'm starting to freak. I get my anxiety attack. I start to sweat profusely. I start to shake uncontrollably. I'm begging my parents to hide me the best as that they can do. And my dad honestly wasn't as pissed about the clowns thing as he was the shredded cheese thing. Anyways, a clown I think it was a clown ends up walking up to me and I think he could see I'm low-key having a panic attack because the first of all there's clowns everywhere. Second of all, there was like 25 clowns everywhere. Okay, all walking up to random kids. Or different groups of kids and groups of families and stuff, and this one could see I was like visually terrified, and said, "Hey kid, there's nothing to be afraid." And then pulls out $4 and hands it to me, and I just just take it, and then from that moment on, I wasn't really afraid of clowns anymore. Now, I'm going to tell you this. That was the most Jewish thing ever to get. I mean, a clown gives me money, and I'm no longer afraid now. I'm like, "Oh, you gave me money. Now I'm not afraid of you," I'm like, thanks, I guess. But, that $4 was really, I ended up getting a hot dog with that and a drink later on in the day. So, thanks to that clown. Whoever you were, you actually helped me get over my fear of clowns, and thank you for that. Some people don't ever get a fear of clowns. My friend Alberto Rakaisen is still afraid of clowns to this day. I can't tell you what happens with him. He's grown out of it to a certain extent where he can be in a room with a clown just for not for very long periods of time. And he doesn't want the clown to go up to him. Now, to this day, I don't hate clowns. They don't scare me, but I find them really annoying sometimes. Like if I'm at a carnival or anything, and a clown is trying its best to make me laugh, and I'm not in the mood, I will tell him, "I'm not in the mood. Please don't make me laugh. Don't want to laugh right now, okay?" Or like when a clown. Okay, the one thing I cannot stand is when a clown tries to get in your face to make you laugh. That's where I will draw the line. If a clown gets in my face to make me laugh, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a girl under the face or whatever, or a guy. I am stomping on those big shoes of yours. I might kick you in your shin. I don't care who you are. You don't get in someone's face to make them laugh. I'm sorry, you don't. Only once or twice did I have to do that, and it was both times they were both male guys dressed as clowns or male clowns. But yeah, to this day, I'm no longer afraid of those things. Uh, Honestly, though, growing up, that was really what I was afraid of. Now I have more of irrational fears, like my biggest fear is being abducted by aliens. That's the one thing I don't want to happen. Do I want to meet an alien? Fuck yeah, I do. Do I want to get abducted? Fuck no. Uh, that and probably being seeing a demon would be the other worst fear. That'd probably be my other worst fear. Yeah, seeing a demon nah, not really seeing a demon. Hell, being demonically possessed be much more worse in my opinion. Yeah, demonically possessed, and then I would probably say being abducted by aliens. But anyways, that's how I got my fear of clowns, and or was also became got over my fear of clowns, and how I was afraid of Chuck E. Cheese and got over my fear of Chuck E. Cheese. Hope you liked it. Hope you liked this video. If you think I've earned your subscription, please subscribe. It'll take 3 seconds out of your day to subscribe, and hit that like button to really help on my channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you all for joining me and joining my company today. JRI out. Y'all have a scary night.